What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Link Up. This is your boy, the spiritual advisor, Mark McCline, man. I just had the most goofiest moment whatsoever. I'm not even going to share it with y'all. We all human. We all make mistakes. At the end of the day, that's all it was, a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Me with my technology, that's what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm still getting the grasp of these things. However, what up, though? That's the 313 greeting, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I'm always repping my city, man. Win, lose, or die. I'm a Lions fan till I die. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. You know, I know everybody upset about that. You know, we got our own thoughts about that in Detroit. But I'm going to tell you like my mama used to tell me, and I believe this wholeheartedly. And then the book tell you this, the Holy Bible, you know, all the teachings of truth kind of reflect the same thing, that basically anything that man got his hands in is subject to corruption. That's all I'm going to say about that. You know what I'm saying? You take it and do with it what you want to do with it. I know what I'm doing with it, you know. They say signs and symbols for the conscious mind. I'm going to remain conscious of the fact that I live in a man's world. It's a man's world. And we all know man ain't always right, man. I'm a man and I ain't always right. I know I ain't always right. Anyway, man, I hope y'all been blessed. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of one another, man. Looking after our elders. You know, keeping a guard over these children. You know, loving one another, man. Caring for one another, man. And trying to grow and be more mature in your spiritual self day by day. You know what I'm saying? It's a task. So, I know that very much. Commend y'all for, you know, watching the videos, sticking with the videos, all the comments. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it might not look like I got a lot of followers, you know. And to me, I never really did this for following. Because I honestly believe if I could touch one person, I'd have changed the world. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, all it takes is one person to make an impact. So, I'm going to ride with that and trust wholeheartedly that, you know, that one person is going to impact other people and other people and other people. You know what I'm saying? So, each one teach one, each one reach one. So, you know, I think I'm doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So, I thank God for that. You know what I'm saying? To be a blessing and not a curse. And that's that. So, you know, let's say, I always start off reminding y'all, God love you. God here for you. I know, you know, there's a lot of strange stuff, man, when people get talking about God, you know. And you know, I've been pretty consistent. You know, first and foremost, you know, I consider myself a scientist, which, you know, mean that pretty much I try to prove everything. You know what I'm saying? So if I be doing this, when I speak on things, that's kind of where I get my confidence from. Because I know me, and I know that I done researched probably whatever it is that I'm talking about. And I done studied over it. I done tested the capacity of it for truth or falsehood. And then once I agree with it, to accept it as truth or to accept it as growth, because all growth ain't got to be about truth. You know what I'm saying? So, whether if I'm growing, then I'm going to get to the truth. And if I got the truth, then that's growth spiritually, always. So, you're not losing either way it go. Yet, it baffled me that, you know, I heard somebody say that, you know, God is not real, and people use God as an excuse to hide their own inadequacies or insecurities, or to control the people with this ideology of a God. And, you know, when he said this, I mean, this was somebody who's supposed to be higher learning and, you know, obviously probably deemed more important than myself. So, you know, his credentials probably surpass mine to some people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people with the same credentials. Half of them don't be knowing what they be talking about for real. Cause most of them talking about stuff that they done read not stuff that they done been through. Me personally, I'm always go with experience over particular knowledge, because knowledge hasn't been tested. It's just what you know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know why you know what you know. You just know because you read it in a book. But it ain't been put to test. There's no application. You know what I'm saying? And wisdom is the application of knowledge. So you having knowledge don't make you wise to me. When you begin to utilize your knowledge and apply your knowledge, then I view you as a wise person. So somebody, the example that being, somebody talking to me about what jail is like, and you ain't never been to jail, you just talking off knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no application for you to rely upon, because you haven't been to jail. So you really don't know what jail like. You know what people tell you jail is like. You know that you know knowledge, which is known. To know is the root word of knowledge. You just know. But you don't simply have the application to sit here and tell me how jail is. But then you have these same people with that knowledge debate a person that been in jail and try to tell them that's not how jail is. That's goofy to me. You know what I'm saying? I try not to get into them kind of conversations with people. You know what I'm saying? The value of knowledge does not outweigh the value of wisdom. It never has and it never will. You can know all that you want to know, but if it's not put to use, then it serves no purpose for real. You just know. Which I always resort back to telling people about the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. You know, they were supposed to be twins. But one of them grew up on an island with all these books, which was Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he grew up on an island. He had all the knowledge in the world, but he could never experience because he was on an island. You know what I'm saying? Now, Danny DeVito character was the applicator. He not only knew some things, but he lived life. He had experience. So anyway, when Arnold Schwarzenegger character ended up getting to the real world, his knowledge made him look goofy as a book. Now he highly intelligent by books, but in experience and the application of that knowledge, he appeared to be as ignorant as you could be. Like, he knew the mechanics of how to drive a car, but once he got in that car trying to drive it, we would have looked at him and be like, man, he don't know how to drive. Because he really don't know how to drive. He never experienced it. So that's my point with the experience thing. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, staying on course, you know, I always wonder why people even concern themselves with trying to disprove a God. Because very seldom, well, I don't know, maybe they do. I don't try to prove to people that there is a God. I just speak logically. You know what I'm saying? Like, logically speaking, just your biological makeup, who you are. Then now this is where science come into play at. Biologically speaking, when you look at your body and everything that your body is capable of doing, how can you accredit that to anything or any human being? There has to be a creator to everything in existence, except he who is self-existent. We're not self-existent. So when you look at your biological makeup, you know what I'm saying, the ability to hear, the ability to learn, the ability to remember, the ability to feel, all your nervous system, you know, the miles of intestines that exist within your, how can you explain that? If there wasn't a greater mind, a universal mind, a sovereign mind, to put that all together and say this is what it's going to take for you to make it in this physical form. Now everything else, now this is the thing that killed me about logic. Remember, stay logical. Everything that we look at, every street sign, every road, every home, every building, every street light, everything you see that's produced, somebody created it. So how can you ignore looking at yourself and deny the fact that you are created too? By a merciful God, most merciful, forgiving. So, you can mind miss me with that. You know what I'm saying? I just brought that up just to say, like, we get off on a lot of times on listening to what other people say. And I ain't got no problem with listening to what other people say. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was advising somebody else that talked to me with trying to figure out if I was a Muslim or I was a Christian or what my denomination was. And I just told him my denomination is God. I choose God over every other name you can think of. You know what I'm saying? You can call me whatever you want to call me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't name myself as a child, so why would I name myself in a religious or spiritual sense? I am whatever you call me to be. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you see me to be, that's what I am. But what I answer to is what I know myself to be. You know what I'm saying? So when you hit me with the right title and address me accordingly and appropriately, you'll know who I am. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, I'm a God-seeking man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a saint. I don't claim to be well, I guess I do claim to be a saint, because a saint ain't nothing but a sinner that fell on his back and got back up. So, just a little cliche. So, but I use that, so I am going to say, I do refer to myself as a saint in that sense. As a sinner that fell down and got back up. So, but yet it's still, that's irrelevant to the point. The point of it is, we all struggle. We all go through things. We all fall short for the glory of God at any given time. Because there's a battle within yourself, which is the main point of why you even here. To either learn your way or his way. To be disobedient by going your way, or be obedient by learning his way. So all this that you're going through in life is a life experience, but the only way you're going to really get there is through self-examination. It's not just any self-examination. We need to specify self-examination in the sense of adding the adjective to it, which is to describe what kind of self-examination are we talking about. So tonight, in this episode, we're talking about divine self-examination. Because in order for self-examination to be an impact, it has to be divine. It has to be divine. Your self-examination should be you trying to learn more of God's will and surrender your own will. So when you going in trying to find out what's going on with you, it should be to put yourself in a better alignment with the Father, the Almighty, the everlasting, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the universal, the merciful, the more often forgiving. You know what I'm saying? No matter what name and what term you go by him as, everybody recognize him as the one. So, when you go through this divine self-examination, let's examine it. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling some people, I want y'all to know this, like, no surprise. However, I feel like my lack of presence here is proven to be there's another call on the floor for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I find myself kind of handcuffed, restricted, boundaries put around me. That now that I feel like as I prove myself to be obedient to the word of God, to the will of God in this aspect, meaning this is what he told me to do, so this is what I did. Now it's coming to me because there's so much greater concern going on in the world other than the way that I express spiritual growth. So a lot of the things that concern the people, I really don't talk about on this channel because I never really got off into politics and this, that, and other. However, it has the attention of the people. And we're going to utilize that. What God is showing, we're going to utilize that because now we're going to have the opportunity to discuss the thing that has the attention of the people. So the things that y'all been wondering about and talking about and what's going on with the world and how to perceive it, we're going to be open up to them discussions. So we're going to shut down the link up as I'm instructed right now. The link up is not what it would be called. For right now, the name that comes to mind is called Raise the Bar. So the Raise the Bar podcast is in blueprint. We trying to figure it out. We're trying to work with it. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's going to be a co-host effect. We're going to have, we're going to have at least one sister for sure, and probably multiple guests. Either here or there. I expect it to be intriguing. I expect it to be confrontational. I expect it to be building. Because at the end of the day, we still trying to fulfill the will of God. And we just opening ourselves up to be more human, to let y'all in more on our human side of life, this, that, and other. So you might see things. People might be smoking, people might be drinking. I can't even tell you everything that might be going on, but we're not closing our doors because we want you to see the reality of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe you could teach divine self-examination and not deal with the reality of all personality. We're not robots, so everybody not gonna see everything the same way. And you don't want to see everything the same way. God didn't design for us to see everything the same way. You know what I'm saying? You know, what you go through in life and get the message that you need to get is what you gonna have to go through. What I had to go through to probably get the same message, I'm gonna have to go through something else because I wouldn't understand it the way that it's brought to you. So we want to bring this diversity. You know what I'm saying? Because we know a lot of our people are, I don't want to use the word different. You know what I'm saying? Or indifferent. A lot of our people, we unique in a very profound way. It's not different. We just unique in a very profound way. And a lot of us are misguided because people putting information out there and our people taking on this information as the truth, or they're allowing it to affect their emotional well-being, their mental well-being, and all that. So the whole point of Raise the Bar is we challenging you to think differently about whatever the topic may be. So, you know, I'ma always be a servant of God. I'ma always seek to help people become better at them being themselves, have a better relationship with God, have a more mature relationship with God, and to better understand God. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, the overall theory of it for me is challenge you to see things different, daring you to do different, daring you to just trust yourself, because yourself is your God within you. So I'm gonna still keep it on some spiritual principles. We just gonna open the day up to a lot more topics. And I didn't want to do it under the link up because the link up had its own foundation. And I wouldn't mention the names and this, that, and other. Now we're gonna be talking about the celebrities and this, that, and the other, whatever going on in the world, whatever we think is grasping the mental attention of our youth and the world in general, but particularly our youth. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk on it and see how should we perceive this. How does this impact us? What effects could this possibly have on us? What good can we get from it? And you know, we're gonna discard it and keep it moving. We're gonna take the good and discard the bad. And everything we do, that's all we're trying to do. We're gonna extract something beneficial and get rid of the rest. So that's where we at. So in line with divine salvation of today, the best way for me to start is to start with myself. As always. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did, you know, divine self-examination. Now, if you get to hear me you say the term self-examination, just mentally put the word divine in front of that, because that's what I'm really talking about. Divine self-examination. Because I really believe that's what it is. It didn't put the word there because you should know. In order for you to achieve true self-examination, it has to be in the spiritual sense. Because the only way you can communicate with God according to the Word of God is you got to communicate with Him in spirit. So if you're going to go within to study yourself, then only naturally that study must be in a divine way. It must be divinity. And if it serves in divinity, then it serves in a spiritual realm. So we really talking about divine salvation. We're not talking about the study of the flesh. We're not talking about being biologists. You know what I'm saying? That's not the point. That's not the self-examination that we're talking about. So this is why I'm telling you now, let's implement, when you're talking about self-examination, let's implement the word divine self-examination. We have to become more precise with our communication so that the people can be more fortified in what they actually going through and more understanding. You know, because it tell you in all your wisdom, get the understanding. A lot of the things that we go through as individuals is because we don't understand ourselves. So my confession is my divine self-examination. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always thought myself to be a pretty good guy overall. I never felt like, oh, if you heard me, I probably said it plenty of times in many videos that in my heart, I never had the intention to just hurt people or do wrong by people or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to betray people, to just, overall just hurt and disappoint people. I really wasn't thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? However, through my divine self-examination, I confess that I did all that. You know what I'm saying? Which made me sit back and think, like, for a long time, we've been running around and I've been deemed, I've been classified, and I done referred to myself as being real, being 100, being a real nigga. I done use all these terms, I'm authentic. And the truth is, I ain't lived up to them terms. In truth and divine, in my divine self-examination, I haven't lived up to that. I haven't been 100. I haven't been authentic. I haven't been real. I haven't been keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Now maybe in some what they call the G-code world, yeah, maybe to y'all, but that's a falsified world for real. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing in that world but betrayal, death, deceit, crime. It's the G-code world, which is, the gangsters. You know what I'm saying? And we all know that we learn it, gangsters don't live by that. They don't really live by no code. The only code they live by is survival. That's all they know, is to survive. You know what I'm saying? It's each one for themselves. Everybody trying to climb to be the boss, and they'll cut anybody's throat to get to that point. So, ain't no real such thing as a G-code. And anybody that, in my research, in my revelation of my divine salvation, anybody that refer to themselves or classify themselves as a gangster is subject to somebody that will stab you in the back. Period. They can talk all that loyalty talk and I die for my brother, or loyalty before dishonor, blood in, blood out. They can talk all that talk they want to talk. There's too many of y'all that prove y'all don't live by that because it's not real. Self-survival is the first order of nature law. Survival of the fittest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go against the nature of your being. Now, that don't mean that It ain't people out here that won't take a case for somebody. It don't mean they won't take a bullet for somebody. You know, it's genuine people out here that really are that loyal. However, that's abnormal and not normal. That's more abnormal than normal. So we're not going to deal with that. So anyway, my divine self-examination, which has led to my divine salvation, you know what I'm saying, is basically I've been realizing I've been kind of fooling myself for a long time. Even in the theory of so-called keeping it real. And it makes me think about Dave Chappelle when he called keeping it real goes wrong. To me, when you live by the slogan, keeping it real, you already went wrong. And let me tell you why. Because when those who live in that world of keep it real, then you will sacrifice your fatherhood. You will sacrifice your partnership, your marriage, your family bonds for keeping it real. Because you can be placed in a situation where one of your mans is an idiot. Let's just keep it real. One of your men, and this generally how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody who generally is probably the most coward person of the group. You know, you get somewhere out in public, and because you know it's 5, 6, 7 guys with you, you poke your chest out, you create situations and put y'all in scenarios that didn't have to be. But you want to exert your strength over something or somebody that you think to be weak. You want to be recognized. You want people to bow down to you. You use power in a poor way. And then when you create this situation, I'm sure everybody heard, like, you know what I'm saying, right or wrong, I'm riding with mine. Man, on some real, that's the craziest thought that you can have. Right or wrong, I'm riding with my people. I mean, you got to think about that. Because right or wrong, you ride with your people. I can't go for that. My divine self-examination has disclosed that it's a cliche to only keep you down. Because what it really does is it get rid of the strength of the family. It get rid of the muscle of the family. Because you always quick to put yourself on the front line. If you always on the front line, who gonna replace you? If ain't nobody on the front line with you right now, who gonna jump on the front line when you gone? So basically what you've been tricked to do is abandon everything that you love. Then you sit in jail and you just hurt and disappointed to come to find out that none of your other partners is living up to the G code. They not taking care of your people. They not taking care of your children. They trying to screw your women. You know what I'm saying? Like, this scenario goes on so many times. Like, we got to get away from these false ideologies that's designed to keep us down. At the end of the day, the 100 man, the G man, the gangster, is the father that's in the home. It's the father that's taking care of his children. It's the fathers that put aside his own pride, his own self-interest for the sake of others. That's gangster. A real gangster is the one that's able to sacrifice for everything that's right around him. Not by sacrificing himself, but sacrificing to be there to protect everything that he says he loves. That's the real OG. That's the real gangster. That's the real G code. It's to stand up in defense of everything that you love. And not in a foolish way. Because I'm not riding with everything, you know, I'm riding with my people right or wrong. No, I'm not riding with you right or wrong. What I'm riding with is, I'm not gonna allow you to be abused. Even if you create a situation for yourself, I'm not gonna allow you to be abused. I'm not gonna allow injustice in your life. I'm not gonna allow people to take advantage of you. If I'm out with my man, I'm not going to allow you to be jumped on by 3 or 4 guys, and I sit back like, oh, that's what he get for opening his mouth. He shouldn't. No, I'm not going to go for none of that. Because that's not right, that's not fair, that's not just. So I'm standing on principle of justice. That's my keeping it real. I'm not doing it just because you my man. I'm doing it because that's not right. Then you my man. Then you my family. You know what I'm saying? But if my mans get into it with a one-on-one, I'm going to stand back and respect that. And if he get whooped, you get whooped. Let's move forward. Let's go. Ain't no get back, this, that. I ain't with none of that. You stood up for what you stood up for. You lost the battle. It is what it is. You ain't win them all. This divine salvation that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got that foolish pride that I had as a kid. I ain't even gonna say as a kid, I ain't got that foolish pride that I had as an adult. Because being honest, I really just came into my manhood in the last 2 or 3 years. I'm 54. So you talking about since I was 51, 52, I just really began to identify what manhood really is. Because I really just started challenging myself in a divine self-examination as to what God made me out to be and not what I want to be. I've been living to the cliches like many of us. You know what I'm saying? Just like no different when you say man is a protector and a provider. You know what I'm saying? And I had this theory all my life as a kid, which led me out to do criminal things and this, that, and other. Because I'm like, it don't matter. Whatever I got to do, I got to do it. I got to get money. That's what a man do. A man get money. You know what I'm saying? A man be able to take care of his, you know, you never look at the compromise of your own integrity, your own character, the dilution or the dilution that you bring to your spiritual strength, your wisdom. You diluting yourself. Then once I got into the tune of being in a divine self-examination, I'm not diluted no more. I'm not fooling myself. I'm hearing that man is a protector and a provider. But a protector what? Protector of the laws of God. Man is to be what God said he is to be. And you are to protect the laws of God, which are inherently inside of you. They've been innately put inside you. Where you ain't got to go out. It ain't the laws that man create. That's why Jesus came and said, I came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill the law. What do you mean by you came to fulfill the law? If we already got the laws, being the 10 Commandments or the Torah and all that at the time, if we actually had the law, why not just abide by the law, Jesus? Because abiding by the law is not enough. You got to become lawful. In order for you to become lawful, you have to become the law. So Jesus came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill the law in the sense of he became the 10 Commandments. He lived the 10 Commandments. He breathed the 10 Commandments. He lived his life an example of the 10 Commandments. So when you talking about love you one another, he didn't just practice that by law. He was that. He's often referred to as the Savior of the world. What's the real true Savior of the world? The Bible, all the teachings that I done read, love is the only Savior of the world. So what would that tell me? That Jesus came as love made manifest. That's the child of God that we need to be talking about. You looking at the human being, I'm looking at the attribute. God can't have human children. Human beings are a finite state of existence. You talking about an infinite God. So in your divine self-examination, God is a spiritual entity. His children are spiritual. So in order for God to claim you as his child, you have to be one of the attributes of God. And the attribute that Jesus came to show himself to be was love made manifest. And And that is why we equate Jesus with being the Savior of the world. Because love is the Savior of the world. And Jesus manifested that love. And love is the greatest attribute of God. God is love. So God manifests. This is why we go through the theory of you hearing people refer and they talk like Jesus is the God. Because God is love. But love is an attribute of God. Love is an expression of God. You can't just say God is. That would be circumscribing God. It says he's undescribable. He's the Alpha and Omega. He's the infinite. He's the all. So he can't be circumscribed to an is per se. However, to understand him, that you may have a better relationship, a better divine relationship with the Father, he gives you pieces of himself to view him in, so that you can come to know him as best as you can. However, it would be practically impossible to think that you can know the infinite in all. He's undescribable. He has no beginning, no end. Where would you ever get to stop describing him at? So how would you ever get to know him in totality? You chasing an illusion. And your divine 77, and I'll give you a better example of that, which is going to take me through my divine self-examination. Divine self-examination. All my life, man, I promise you, I fought to be somebody. And it didn't even matter who I was somebody to. I just wanted to be somebody. Now, the inadvertent part about that, or the spiritual part about that is, I always knew I was more than my flesh. I always knew that I was more important than this flesh. I always knew that I was supposed to have a value. And I sought to have that value recognized. And I did a lot of wicked and crooked things to be recognized. But I was being recognized by the people. I was being recognized by the human being. Because I had no relationship with God, I couldn't really see God. Even though he was constantly revealing himself to me, I couldn't really see him. So I didn't take hold of his hand. I didn't recognize his presence within me. I didn't understand how God was operating, how he existed. But I could see, feel, touch, taste this human world, like the old saying of the Matrix. I was in my Matrix. And the world was all that mattered. So I sought the attention and the approval of human beings. And one of the greatest senses of approval that a human being can give is when they know you getting money. When you get money, people seem to cater to you. The life seems to be better. You seem to think you happier. But what I realized is when through my divine self-examination, I lived in a lot of fear getting that money. I lived with a lot of hurt for getting that money. I compromised myself as a man and a child of God for getting that money. Even though I had no knowledge and no relationship with God, I still was a child of God. Even at that time, the Father never abandoned me. I abandoned him. Yet it still didn't take away from the fact that I'm a result of him. I'm made in the image and likeness of him at all times. There's no excuse for me to say I didn't know. That's no excuse. I still got to be accountable. However, I didn't know this. So while I'm out here trying to get the applause of my brethren, doing all the craziness that I was doing, and I ain't here to really make confession. You know what I'm saying? That's between me and God. I ain't confessing in the courtroom. I ain't confessing in the investigating room. I'm not really going to confess per se to the public. I share testimonies, but it's not about confession. I'm giving you a storyline letting you know that our human nature conflicts with our spiritual being. Sometimes you'll be in your human nature and think that you're doing what God wants you to do. You think you're abiding by your spiritual being. But oh no, you being tricked. You being tricked. Because God don't have you do things as favors. You feel me? God not gonna just give you rewards for doing right. Ain't no real reward for doing right. Right is what it's supposed to be. Right is the nature of man. When you act accordingly to what's right, it just is. But we so in love and intoxicated with doing what's wrong, not knowing that it takes more effort, more muscle, more strength, more constance to do what's wrong, to do more wrong than it is to just do right. See, the devil rewards you. And that's how you get to recognize the devil. Because the devil always offering you something. He always trying to compromise you. He always trying to bargain with you. You do this, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. You do this for me, I'll do this for you. God ain't compromising. The only thing God told you is, as long as you choose him, you shall receive the kingdom. And he tell you about the kingdom. But you gotta choose the kingdom. He ain't giving it to you. He ain't offering it to you. It's your rightful home. He reminded you of where you belong. But you gotta get there on your own. But anytime the devil trying to get your attention, anytime the devil trying to work with you, I promise you, it's gonna be a bargain. It's gonna be an offering. It's gonna be a compromise. It's just like I was watching this thing on social media, and it was something about a brother said he was in a coma for quite some time, that they was about ready to give up on him. But he was like, while he was in the coma, he was actually experiencing death. And he's like, while I was in the coma, I was on the feeding tube, so I was hungry, I couldn't drink, I was thirsty. All these, physical things that was a part of him was still real, so he didn't feel death per se. So anyway, he go into this coma state, and he meet the devil. He don't know it's the devil at first. He ain't understand it because, he at this time, he alive. In his eyes, he alive. He just knew something wasn't right. And then he was feeling himself hungry. He was feeling himself thirsty. And he was like, the devil pulled up on him, what he called just a man pulled up on him. Smooth, slick dress, nice hairstyle, His nationality was kind of foreign to him. Like, he wasn't black or white. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, the brother was good with his words. So he like, him and the brother kicking it, this, that, and the other, and the brother knowing his condition. The brother know it's the devil now. The devil know he in a coma. So the devil started talking to him like, man, you looking, all thirsty, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But while he doing this, he also sipping on something. What he's sipping on serves as a temptation. Because here it is, my man is in a coma. He thirsty. Because he laying in his coma. But the devil know he in a coma. My man don't know really what's going on. So the devil get out with his cool drink, he's sipping and drinking. He's like, man, you looking like you thirsty or something. And my man, he's like, man, I am kind of parched and this, that, and other. I could use a drink. So the devil like, here, go ahead, take a drink. So man take the cup from the devil. He drinking, quenching his thirst, this, that, and other. So that, he turn around, they talking, they conversating, this, that, and the other. And my man, he hear his hunger. So he hungry. So he say something like, man, is there some place around here to eat? The devil like, what? man, I got a couple people in the car. They got some burgers or something right now. You know what I'm saying? What, you want a burger? And my man was like, yeah, that would be nice. So two nice looking females jump out the car. You know what I'm saying? They eating on burgers, but they coming. Temptation. My man looking at the burgers and, he dang near drooling because he hungry. He in a coma. He got this feeding tube down his throat. So the devil playing with his mental while he in this state. But he don't know he's the devil. So the women come up to him, this, that, and the other, So he started looking at them like, man, he, in his head, temptation, he's some nice looking bros, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So they come up to him again and was like, you want a burger? My man like, yeah, I want a burger, this, that, and the other. So he take the burger, now he eating. Now he eating and drinking. So he feeling better about himself. So the devil like, what you got going on? You got anything to do this, that, and the other? My man like, nah, really. Ironically, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm like, kind of feeling kind of strange. I don't know where I'm supposed to be in right now. I'm like, oh, well, you got time. Come on, roll with me, man. Let's go up to this little party, that I've been invited to. Let's see what's going on. So he like, the devil like, you like the women, you like this. He get to offering more and more and more stuff. So now this time, my man's sitting back like, man, you sound and seem awfully familiar. And the devil like, well, yeah, but I always been a part of you, you know what I'm saying? Me and you been rocking for a long time. Like, you my mans, I got you. Man, like, I'm your man, you got me. He's like, man, you the devil. Devil just smiled at him like, oh, man, we going to this party or what? Man, like, nah, man, I ain't going to no party with you. Like, I really should beat your butt because you got me in this predicament. Devil like, hold on, man, hold on, wait a minute. I don't get down like that, but you want to fight. Like, I don't do that, but I got somebody that will. So he called his people like, hey, my man, come take care of this for me. He's like, oh, man, you don't even fight your own battles, this, that, and other. The devil like, why would I do that? When I got people that owe me favors, they do anything that I want them to do. I don't get my hands dirty. Instantly. My man bagged down like, man, you ain't even worth the chase. He come out his coma. Now he's seeing family, faces, this, that, and the other. He's seeing love. Because love is the only savior of the world. Remember that. So now he's seeing his love, and it's like, whoa, it's like he transitioned from reality to reality. Because he thought that was real with the devil. But what he came to find out is, he started telling people. He's like, I already know. He's like, man, look, y'all ain't gonna never believe what I've been through, this, that, and the other. But he's like, nah, I know the devil, like, the back of my hand. So they're like, what is you talking about, man? You okay? Like, no, you've been in coma for a minute. Like, you lost your mind too? They like, my man, like, no. I just know to recognize the devil when he comes. And they was like, yeah, okay, well, whatever. He's like, yeah. The devil never get his own hands dirty. The devil will always offer you gifts. Things that satisfying. Things that you in dire need of. Food. Water. The devil gonna come and he gonna bargain. He gonna give you what you physically crave. Then he gonna bargain with you. But one thing he not gonna do is he not gonna do the dirty work. That's what we are for. He always got somebody to do things for him. He never do the work for himself. Whereas God does the work. God gets you through. God brings you through. God walks beside you. God carries you. God upholds you. God does everything for you that you need to do for yourself. He provided you with everything you could ever need. All you have to do is choose God. Ain't no bargain. Ain't no offering with God. So be weary or be leery of those that always is constantly offering you something. Always trying to bargain with you. Always trying to give you something like, you pay me later. Because you don't know what kind of debt you're building up with yourself against that person. And just because you love them, remember the devil used the most innocent of us. The devil will use your children, your mother. Once he find a weakness in people, he predator that weakness. Like my man when he was hungry, when he was thirsty. If he wasn't in the true divine self-examination about himself, he probably would have took that bargain with the devil and been in favor of the devil. If he didn't recognize him for who he was. If he wasn't in search of his true God, he could have got lost in the devil's ways. With all that bargaining and compromising and giving and offering that the devil was bringing before him because of his physical weaknesses. So divine salvation, it reveals the devil. It reveals his ways. And I'm going to tell you, like, for real, a lot of y'all might not want to hear this, but he going to use, the devil going to use the person or the people that's most closest to you. Even if he have a moment of weakness in that person, that moment of weakness, he gonna capitalize as quick as he can. He could be somebody you love dearly. And they gonna turn around and do something to you that you gonna regard as betrayal, or this, that, and the other. It's gonna hurt you, it's gonna impact you. And this the devil compromising y'all relationship. If you let the devil win. But if you study up under divine self-examination, you'll come to realize that a good-hearted person can still be used by the devil. Because in this human flesh, there is a degree of weakness still. People do have to eat. People do starve. People do get hungry. People do get famished. People do get thirsty. And at any given moment, don't nobody know what they'll do for that bite of food or for that thirst, that quench of thirst. Even if it's just a moment of 5 minutes of your life of just being angry about something. And in the 5 minutes of you being angry, you can say something to somebody that you love that you really don't mean. But you said it, and it's real to that person. And it could destroy that person. Because they look that highly up to you. So if that person's not in tune with his divine self-examination and don't recognize that the devil is compromising your relationship, because actions should not take over the intent of one's heart. However, we can't always see each other's intent. This is what divine self-examination teaches you. You can have the best intent in the world. You can have a righteous intent and manifest a wrong action. Your intent could be so pure. However, the way you express it and the way you bring about, it didn't sit right with somebody. It didn't come across wrong. They didn't comprehend it the way that you intended it to be comprehended. Now, a weak-minded individual that's not in tune with his divine or her divine self, they gonna take that disappointment. And they gonna become a victim of the devil because now you in your flesh, you in your feelings, you hurt because you not seeing. This is how the devil works. This is how the devil works. He puts you in positions. And when he finds you in that, when he finds you dwelling in your flesh, he seizes the moment. And he try to capitalize. Why you hungry? Why you thirsty? Why you disappointed? Why you're angry? Why you're confused? Why you're depressed? Why you're sick? All these earthly things that you go through. When the devil catch you in any of these modes, that's when he come with compromise. That's when he come with gift offerings. And a lot of times we take it because we think it's going to help us. But you've been told as a child to not take food from a stranger. But yet sometimes in our flesh we get so weak, we ignore the innocence of our youth. We ignore the innocent teachings because we're not operating under the tent of purity. We're operating under the flesh, which is impurity. Even if it's for a brief moment. It's just like these pastors and the people that you trust to teach the congregations, when they find themselves in compromising positions and they realize you human. But if you gon' when the devil find that weakness in you, and he used that, whatever it is, if you're not locked in on your divine self-examination and you don't have a true relationship with God, where you put God first above all things, above everything, then the devil gonna be able to utilize you too. No matter how perfect you may be, no matter how good you quote the Bible, no matter how sanctified you is, or none of that. You're going to suffer a moment of weakness as a human being at some point in time in your life. You're going to be and portray yourself human. And when you do, the devil is going to be right there waiting for you. And he's going to try to pull you into that human nature. And if you fall into your human nature, you can't be in your spiritual nature. So he's taking you away from your divine self-examination and putting you into a physical, finite world, which is not the word of God. Divine self-examination. So like I said, I'm just learning to become a man at my age. And I'm going to tell you the goofiest thing. I don't know who this spoke, but I don't want nobody else. I'm going to say it because I believe that I go through things to prevent other people from having to go through it. This is why we teach each other. This is why we fellowship. Or this is why we should fellowship. This is why we got a congregation. Because there's no need for everybody to fall in the hole. If you know somebody that fell in the hole, and you're like, hey, there's a hole up there. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we help each other. That's what we're supposed to do. Teach each other. So when you find somebody that's not going the way of God, you're not being obedient to God, then that's when you need to be confronted. That's when you need to be educated. That's when you need to be brought back into the fold. But we're going to get to that. So anyway, let me tell you the biggest thing I did to fool myself, and I'm just recently finding out for real. Like, these last couple months, man, I'm talking about, God has definitely been showing me how much of an idiot I have been in life, how selfish I have been, how polluted I have been, how disgraceful, disingenuous. Basically, in the spiritual world, basically I've been a sellout. I'm gonna got to call it what it is. Basically, looking at it from in my divine self-examination, I've been a sellout to God. In the process of that sellout, and I'm gonna say this because I heard people that generally I had no right in hurt because I was thinking for my flesh and not my spirit. Because a lot of people wasn't teaching me about my spirit. I didn't really know about my spirit. But again, that's no excuse because the spirit was always trying to awaken me to the truth. And I know this because I know he was because when I was doing wrong, somehow I knew it was wrong. And even if I had the audacity to say it wasn't wrong, I knew it wasn't right. Because I didn't want everybody to know about it. So it was hidden. So I knew it wasn't of God because I was had. So now I sit back and then, I lived a whole life of an imposter, so to speak. And I'm saying that because I was not really being myself. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of the stuff that I stand on in principle. But the way that I chose to express it, man, I took the drink from the devil. I was thirsty. I drunk with him. I took the food from him when I was hungry. You know what I'm saying? I laid in his bed when I got tired. I took the offerings. I'm not going to tell you I sold my soul. That's obviously not the truth. But I did make myself impressionable. I did make myself vulnerable to selling myself. At some point, it became almost like a rite of passage. And at that time, God intervened in the most wicked of ways. For me, it was a wicked way and I mean wicked in not the way that you would define wicked. I mean wicked in the sense that it was one of the best chess moves he ever made in my life. But it was the worst for me in the flesh because it cost me 20 years of incarceration. Yet through divine self-examination, when I look back on that moment, that time, it was a pivotal moment in my life where had he not intervened, and I know people say God don't intervene, but he put the options before me. He put a course before me, and I followed the course that he knew I would follow. He allowed me to play on my own greed, my own selfishness. Only because he knew that really wasn't who I was. Yet I had to see it. I had to go through some stuff to see it. And I wasn't going to see it had I stayed in the world. I'm honest enough to say that if I don't go to prison when I went to prison, I sell my soul to the devil. Because at that time, I was on destruction mode. I'm talking about families was being hurt. Betrayals was being committed. And it was all about money, one way or another. And my quest to money, and me thinking the money proved me to be a man. I'm getting money, so I'm a man. I'm taking care of myself. This, that, and the other. I'm doing this for this. I'm a boss. I'm feeding people. This was all playing on my ego. This is what I thought I was. I never really seen the destruction until it all collapsed on me. And it didn't collapse until I figured out the sentence. Even when they was charging me wanted to charge me with. I felt above them. I felt confident, cocky, arrogant, like, man, I ain't worried about y'all doing this, that, and the other. I'm in my human mode. The devil telling me he got me. But the walls was closing in, and I wasn't feeling secure. Everything that I had been fighting for and been chasing, them illusions was being taken away from me. Now I'm sitting in jail, I ain't getting money. I'm not being a protector. In the theory, even in the theory of what I thought, I was not being a protector. I'm not providing, I'm actually being provided for. Even when it came to me just asking somebody to send me my money, I had to start asking people for favors. But look how great God is. He put me in the most humbling situation to let me know that really I am not what I think that I am. I'm not a boss. I wasn't being a protector. We provide for one another. I don't just provide for people. People provide for me too. So now I got to get rid of the selfish thought. But I didn't grasp that right then and there. We under divine self-examination. This me traveling back and seeing the hand of God in my life. If I don't go then, I'm not here to be breathing today. I die. I'm about certain of it. And if I die, there is no Malaysia. There is no Little Mark. Along with a lot of other bonds and blessings that I've been granted to share and experience. And all this is lost. And I sold my soul. Not because God did allow me to see this, to be placed in this situation, trusting that I would see myself, that I would grow, that I would find interest in Him, and try to build this relationship with Him, and allow Him to save me through His love. He had to be confident that the heart of me was always in the right place. He always knew my intent, that I wasn't a bad guy. I actually was a loving guy, wanting to do what was right. I just traveled the wrong ways. I had the wrong understanding. My mind was in the wrong form of thinking because I was thinking about what was being offered to me. I was thinking about the food that was being given to me. I was thinking about a drink that was given to quench my thirst. And I felt like as long as I was being fed and being given this drink, that I would do whatever I had to do to keep eating and drinking. But I didn't know that I was dancing with the devil. And yet I was. So let me break this down, like in my divine self-examination. Today I'm a real man. But my being a real man came at the expense of a lot of other people. A lot of people had to pay a price for me to become a real man. I had to hurt a lot of people for me to become a real man. And I ain't gonna lie, man. When you talk about forgiveness, let me tell you something, man. I thank God for forgiveness. I do. What I come to learn is there's nothing you can do with God that doesn't come with a price, And I don't mean like a sell your soul price or, an offering type price. Nothing physical whatsoever. But what I mean by that is, when God forgives you, you're reminded of what He's forgiven you for. Now think about that. Dissect that for a minute and digest it. Because inside that is a great wisdom. In the midst of God forgiving you, you're going to remember His forgiveness. And remembering His forgiveness, you remember what you done. Now this is where the mercy of God come into play at. When you love God, and you truly got a love for God, you truly got a quest for God, you truly seeking to be at one with God. When you go to God and ask Him for that forgiveness, you have to live with what it is you're being asked to be forgiven for. Now, what does that mean? That means when you receive His forgiveness, you're living with it to make His forgiveness worthwhile. You're going to have to experience the very thing you sought forgiveness for. Amen. Praise God. Listen, I know y'all don't like this. Y'all ain't going to like me after this, but that's okay. That's okay. Because a lot of y'all been under the illusion that you can just go to God and ask for forgiveness and all is forgiven and all is well. And in a sense, it is. But you cannot ask anyone for forgiveness and not remind yourself of what you're asking for forgiveness. So that means when you asking for that forgiveness, you have to relive what you're asking forgiveness for. So when you go to God and if you done killed somebody and you decide to turn your life around and you want to repent and give your life to God, and you asking God to forgive you for your sins, you have to remember. You got to bring remembrance to thy aid. When you bring remembrance to thy aid, you're no longer the perpetrator, you're the victim. Wait a minute, spiritual advisor, say that again. Wait a minute. Let me bring that back. When you go to God, and you're seeking this, just think about it. You put yourself there whenever you ask God for forgiveness. And whatever you ask Him for forgiveness about. When you go to God and you ask Him for forgiveness of whatever sin you ask Him for forgiveness of, you have to relive that sin mentally, not physically, but mentally. And if you are sincere and honest in your seeking forgiveness, you become the victim so you can express the empathy. Now you know the pain and hurt and damage that you caused to someone or some people. And you have to live with that. Now that sounds like torment. Some people would tell you that's hell. I'm telling you that's grace. It's the grace of God for you to have that ability. Because if you didn't know how painful it was, you would be subject to do it again. This time, if you do it, the intent is that's intentional. When you know better, you do better. You don't have the excuse of saying you didn't know. Whatever it is, you lose that because it's been proven. When you seek forgiveness, you testify to your knowledge of knowing the sins that you committed. Not just that you committed against somebody, but the sins that you committed. Meaning, therefore, for you to know the sin, you have to experience the sin. So if you go to God and you seeking forgiveness for the murder of a woman's child, you're going to feel that mother's pain. You're going to feel that sister's loss of a brother. You're going to feel that child's loss of a father. That's deep. But this is the reward of divine self-examination. It's a reward. You know what I'm saying? It's like the old story was in this movie, The Shack. And, you know, when the scene of the movie, or part of the movie is my man blaming God, like, you know, you didn't protect my daughter, this, that, and the other, this happened to her, this, that, and the other. You know, how you gonna say you love her or you love me? And you didn't protect her, you let this happen to her. You even let this happen to Jesus. You let him hang on the cross, this, that, and the other. And the person that was playing God that he was talking to opened up their hands and showed him, like the same wounds that he got, I got. And told him, I felt everything that he went through. And this is what I mean when I'm telling you about divine self-examination, is you got to get to the point where the trouble you cause others, you have to experience that suffrage with them. You can't be forgiven if you don't. You have to know what you're asking for forgiveness of. You have to go through that process. So even in this movie called The Shack, you know, my man, basically this was what God was showing him all throughout the movie is, you have the very thing that you want me to do, the very thing that you accuse me of, you're going to have to live through all that. Now you want me to harm this person because you judged them for harming your child. But you forget that that person is my child too. Now you want me to prefer one over the other, this, that, and the other. When you dealing with divine self-examination, you have to go through. And this is what we mean when God has get you through, when God will take you through, but he'll also get you through. Because when you go to face that ugliness within yourself, in order for you to become what God divinely meant for you to be, you're going to have to face your ugly man. You alone, you can lie to all the world. But you alone, you always know the truth of your actions. You can't lie to yourself. And when you go before God and you seek that forgiveness, all truth is made plain to you. If you're a sincere seeker of a relationship with God, a divine relationship with God, man, you're going to experience some hurt and pain and all that. It's enough to make you want to quit. However, that. Jesus told you too. Like the same people that persecute me, they gonna persecute you. What they done to me, they gonna do it to you. The whole theory that you always hear, the closer you get to doing right, the more the devil gonna come and tempt you. The more you suffer, the more pain that come into your world, then you know God watching over you. How do you equate that to be the one and the same thing? Because you're in the mode, you're in a process, you're in your get through phase of being forgiven. However, you got to go through your nightmare that you created. You got to face your ugly man. You got to face your truth. If you killed a man, you got to know what that felt like for people to lose that person, whoever it was. If you carry any kind of humanity within yourself and you seek a true relationship with God, this is why any real killer would tell you, man, ain't no joy in that. Them reoccurring nightmares. Now, I don't see them as nightmares because at this point I'm comfortable with my truth. It's a constant reminder. So now when I'm placed in a position where I might have the opportunity to even kill again, I dare not do it because I know all the pain that comes with that killing. Not for just me, but for my victim. For the people that love this victim. For the people that's a family to this person. For my family. Because whatever happened to me, other people gonna suffer too. So what I learned through my divine salvation is in that moment of becoming a man of God, I had to sacrifice pride, ego, arrogance, G-code, keeping it real. I gotta sacrifice these things because now my mind is programmed to foresee the damage that I'm causing. I get to play victim before I victimize. That's the mercy of God. That's merciful. That's merciful. And it shows my love for God. It shows my devotion to God. It shows my dedication to God. When He witnessing me doing this, God smiles on me. His heart warms up with love because I'm being exactly what He wants me to be. I'm being obedient to His will. I feel what His children feel because I am His children. I am a product. I am an image. I'm a likeness of Him. I don't want to see us hurt. And I dang sure don't want to be the cause of hurt no more. That's the theory of love. What am I saving you from? Love is the only savior of the world. What am I saving you from? I'm saving you from the hurt, the heartache, the abuse. And I'm saving myself from the destruction of myself. Powerful, man. Divine self-examination. I encourage you. Stop saying self-examination and start saying divine self-examination. Wordplay is wordplay. But anytime you use the word divine, you have to admit you think more about God than you're going to be thinking about yourself. You're thinking more spiritually. You're taking it to the next level. So keep it in tune with this, man. I'm starting to relive my victims' hurt. I mean, right now today. Right now today, I'm reliving hurt that I caused to others. Let me tell you, this is what I want. This is the thing I want y'all to take from this on some real stuff, right? So, I cheated on my woman, right? Not only did I cheat on my woman, let me just tell you how profound and how deep and where I'm at with myself now. Not only did I cheat on my woman, at the time of me being her man and us supposed to being in this monogamous relationship and all this, that, and the other, not only did I cheat on her, but I also gave her an STD, right? I already know, you know what I'm saying? So you can feel that, right? A lot of y'all like, I can hear you, like, oh, wow, yeah. Okay, well, that betrayal hurt her at the time. Disgusted her, broke her in ways that she didn't even know herself. You know what I'm saying? Basically because she has so much love for me, you trying to forgive me and be there for me and keep this relationship going because you love me. That you end up bottling up this hurt, right? And you tuck this hurt away inside you. Now, because my love for you my love for her was genuine, I mean, it really is a genuine love. You know, so don't get it twisted and be like, you know, I hate when people, well, I ain't gonna say I hate. You know, I'm just strongly in disagreement with people that be like, you could have never loved somebody that you cheated on. Yeah, when you're not comfortable with yourself, you're capable of doing a lot of things. It ain't got nothing to do with love. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't secure with me at the end of the day. And that was the whole moral of the story. I wasn't secure with me, and I wasn't secure with us. And I wasn't protecting her emotional well-being, nor was I providing for her spiritual being. I wasn't providing properly for her, period. I was really basically in destruction of who you are. You know what I'm saying? I was destroying you as a woman, yet I really didn't know that at the time because, you know, first and foremost, I'm cheating. I'm not trying to get caught. Then I'm cheating, not realizing the consequences of my actions and what I could bring back to somebody that I love. I just wasn't thinking. I mean, that's what you do when you play with the devil. You don't think. You just do. You take the offerings, you take the sandwich, you take the food because you feel like you being fulfilled. You in your selfish mode. You're not seeing and thinking about what other people is thinking. I mean, how other people thinking or feeling. It's self-gratification. That's the whole essence of who the devil is. Self-gratification. Everything about his existence is for him to gratify himself. Otherwise, he would be in a submission and obedience to God. But he's not in submission and obedience to God because he's in self-gratification mode. And I was moving the same way. Even though in my head, I'm telling myself, I love this woman. I love my people. I love it. But then I was doing everything backwards. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there talking about I love my children, but I'm out here doing everything that it takes to be removed away from my children, to be taken from my children, to put my children in a position where you might have to grow up without a father, whether it be prison or death. I was making them move, but these was people that these my children. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Divine self-examination is not just talk. You got to be accountable. You got to become the victim. You don't really think that God would allow you to go through the world and hurt the world, bring disappointment to the world, bring chaos to the world, and not let you acknowledge and experience everything that you done? Like, how else are you expected to grow? So when you talking about, okay, yeah, now I know what pain is. Because I seen it in them. It's been applied. wisdom is the application of your knowledge. So it wasn't good enough for me to know pain. I had to experience it. And I'm experiencing it in the worst way because it's all internal. You didn't have to cheat on me. I feel what you feel because I know now the sin of my ways. I know how much hurt you to experience. I can feel the crushing because I'm crushed. To even have to sit here and tell y'all this. This is what I mean. This is what I'm saying. In order for me to be forgiven by God, you see how I have to relive what I've done. I have to become my victim. I have to become the experience and the pain and the hurt that I cause other people. Knowing is not enough. I'm experiencing it. In all of life, anything that promotes growth is going to promote pain. If you're growing in your relationship with God, you're going to experience pain. You're going to experience hurt. There's not no fairy tale to this. God is real. And everything that you need to go through to experience your love for God and to abide by His will, to be His servant. That's why I say ain't nothing but a sinner to get up off his back. You got to go through some stuff, man. So I'm going through it. And I'm telling you, anybody that been through it will have to tell you, it feels like death. But I remember people telling me some of the things that I did. I remember them saying that like you killed me. You killed a part of me. Like you gave me so much trust. Some people had given me so much trust that when I betrayed that trust, they was bewildered. I didn't even think I was that powerful of an individual that I could cause somebody that much hurt. Yet they gave me so much of themselves that once the betrayal came about, it was like they felt ruined. They felt destroyed. They felt dead. And because I do testify to being a true servant of God, I am seeking out God's will. I am seeking out God's ways. I do seek God's forgiveness. I had no idea that I would have to go through all that I went through. So I'm going to ask a lot of people, when you say you want to get to heaven, when you say you want to get to heaven, are you willing to go through hell to get there? Because I promise you, you're going to go through hell to get to heaven. It's just plain and simple. If you think about it, why would God allow anybody into heaven that hasn't proved themselves to be worthy of heaven? And in order for you to be worthy of heaven, you have to denounce hell. You have to denounce the devil. How else can you denounce them if you don't encounter them? The devil and hell. How on earth could you ever denounce them if you haven't experienced them? How can you choose hot water over cold water if you never had water? This is the point of it. Divine self-examination. but somebody get something from this. Because I'm telling you, I'm choosing God for certain. I'm choosing to be obedient to the will of God. I'm choosing to be a servant of God. I'm choosing to be what God designed me to be. To operate in the image and likeness of my Father. So, I'm going to take this pain that I'm going through. I'm going to take this death because I feel like something died in me. I mean, the best people, I can't even begin to tell you. I'm hurt. And I know the hurt. Now I know the hurt that I caused. I am my victim. Or, in truth, I am my victims. And it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant at all. Like, honestly, I don't even know how they continue to deal with me. With the hurt and pain that I'm feeling, that I'm trusting. This is what y'all felt because this is why I'm being permitted to feel it. I don't even know how y'all continue to deal with me. Because in my head, as I'm experiencing it, going through it, sometimes death feels like, hey, it don't seem like such a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to be corny or suicidal or none of that. I'm just telling you, in truth, it hurt. And it's not even my sin. This is just the sin. This is what my victims felt that I have to face for forgiveness. In my divine self-examination, this is the path and course that God has led me on, that I now feel what my victims felt. And it don't feel good. And it don't feel worthy of life. I'm often waking up disgusted. That's when I can sleep. I can't even sleep. Because it's like I'm living in a moment of terror. So to be betrayed by somebody that you only been loving, somebody that you would say you only been doing right by, that's like a child being betrayed by a parent, man. And any of y'all know anybody, any child that been scarred or abused by a parent, it generally affects them for the rest of their life. But I'm telling you, that when you go before God, you're going to feel that way about all your brethren. God going to see to it. Because in God's kingdom, we are one. So God is going to show you the same hurt and pain and scar that child lived with from a parent. You're going to live with for the abuse of your brothers and your sisters too. And you're going to see yourself in them. And whatever hurt and pain you cause them, you're going to have to experience that. And you're going to have to get through that. Unfortunately, a lot of us can't get through it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us can cause it, but a lot of us can't handle it. So now when you talk about people that commit suicide, this, that, and the other, I'm willing to tell you because a lot of them can't go through what they cause. They can't deal with the divine self-examination. And the offering of the devil is kill yourself. This is profound, man. relationship with God itself is profound. Like, I couldn't even make this up. It can only come from God to give you this. But I pray that you take it and you deal with it. You realize sometimes some of the things you think you're suffering and you don't understand why, but is that and the other. Think about some of the things you might have caused other people. And maybe you just going through your victims, pain, hurt, suffering. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't deal with people as justly as you thought, maybe you living in a world that you consider to be unjust. What I'm trying to tell you is, instead of looking at everything from an unjust perspective, which is selfish, because you're looking at it yourself like how unjust this is and this, that, and other, instead of looking at it as it's personal and it's about you, divine self-examination. Travel within yourself and see the injustice or the unjust acts you betrayed on other people. And maybe you'll better understand why you feel the injustice you feel when you feel unjustly about what it is you're going through. Because again, through divine self-examination, you have to experience all that you caused. That's only divinely right. The old saying, eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, it stands true. It stands true. What you have done shall be done to you. Not necessarily in the physical sense, but in the divine sense. What you put out will come back to you. That hurt, that pain, that betrayal, you won't live it again. I remember I used to sit back and think, how somebody could be so hurt by a physical betrayal of cheating on a partner, or somebody dying. Well, I kind of understand that, but the pain, I didn't ever really get to experience the pain, because I never looked at things from their perspective. And I probably didn't care, because the person that was the victim at the time, in my head at that moment when it was done, they had what they had coming. And my wicked thinking and who I was and how I was living, that's how I had to view it. That's how I was able to live with myself. I had to. You cannot perform an action without justification. That was my way of justifying it. So this is what I wanted. This is the main message that I really wanted y'all to get across. I hope that y'all, being that this is my departure, it's like my last supper with y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is our last opportunity to break bread together. I will hope that y'all take the time to leave a comment about what you think about this particular sermon and the divine salvation. Because right now, today, to me, I can't be convinced that nothing that I said is not the truth. Because I'm actually living This is not karma. I promise you. It don't feel like that. It's none of that. This is exactly what it is. Period. And what it is mercy. Now, if I took it as karma and said, you're only getting back what you put out there, so to speak. I don't believe in karma, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because in order for me to get back what I put out there, whatever it is that come back to me, I have to embrace that. If I don't accept it, I don't experience it. What I'm telling you in this divine self-examination, you have no option. Once you go before God and you seek forgiveness from our Father, our Heavenly Father, this becomes a rite of passage. Now, it used to be that some of my victims that I'd have came through and tried to, make amends with, I would feel unworthy of them. Because some of them still continue to love me and, basically, like, I get it, I understand, I'm going to work with you through this, whatever. That was like putting coal on top of my head, and I didn't even know it. Them being that gracious and that merciful. Like, I'm honestly experiencing something that's hurting me so much that I really haven't experienced. It hasn't been revealed to me as a truth. It's been revealed to me as, this is the pain and damage you cause. And as I get to look at that pain, that damage, I get to feel that pain and that damage, then because I am a true seeker of God, that no matter how much this hurts, and I'm telling you, it hurts to the point of death, that I would rather be dead than experience this pain, not in a physical sense. Just an expression of how much it hurts. Because at the same time, my divine self-examination has brought me closer to God and better understanding His mercy and His forgiveness. And I'm thankful for that. Even in this pain, in this hurt, I'm begging for Him to just reveal the truth, man, get it over with. But it's like, nah, you didn't just reveal the truth. You let it linger out. Some of your hurt and pain came right away. Some of it didn't. So don't ask me for mercy to end your pain. Let's get it over with. Like, no. Go through until you get through. Go through it until you get through it. Ain't no time limit on that. So all I can do is walk in His glory. Now, if y'all ain't realizing the storyline behind all this, I'm going to give you another opening that you can go through and look at from another perspective. And you can study His world. And it's the book of Job. The only difference is Job did nothing to nobody. But he had to experience so much hurt, pain, neglect, just to be proven the Son already there. And God knew it to reassure. Look at all that God allowed him to go through and experience. Because Joseph just chose God. But that he went through proved that God was God to him. His relationship with God was not in vain. It was sincere. Job was sincere. And that's where I'm at. I'm sincere. So I'm going to take these lashes. I'm going to take this pain. I feel like a fool. I feel like an idiot. I want to crash out. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I want to crash out. But I know that's just a distraction from what I'm really going through. So what I do every day in my divine self-examination is I try to tell myself when it gets too unbearable to carry the weight of this pain, this hurt, I feel disgusted with myself. I think death is easier. Then I'll be like, man, we put them through it. You gotta go through it. That's my only inspiration. And if I made people feel the way I feel, I want to go through it. I want to go through it, although I don't like it. I want to go through it because I know the better man is making me day by day. Every day I get through it, I feel stronger with my relationship with God. Every day, I feel like he smiled on me like, now you get me. For a long time, I had an easy walk. He let me learn a lot of good things, showed me a lot of good things. And I'm like, oh, this is easy. Something God, this easy. All you gotta do is choose to do the right thing. This, that, and other. That's what Job did. Yet it's just not that simple with God. No matter who you are, at some point, you're going to have to go through it. And you're going to have to get through it. So if I got to be made a fool of, if I got to be deprived, if I got to be embarrassed, if I got to be ashamed, if I got to feel broken, if I got to feel betrayed, I'm inviting it all. I'm inviting it all because I know my reward is the right hand of God. It has nothing to do with this flesh. Nothing at all. And I'm telling you, I'm going through it, man. Because in my eyes, I was right where I was supposed to be. Everything was supposed to just go according to plan, this, that, and other. The things start getting out of whack. And I'm like, hey, man, hold on. What's going on here? Why I'm starting to feel like this? Why I'm starting to feel like that? Why I'm even thinking like this? It is like, oh. Even though I asked for this forgiveness years ago, His mercy has just been granted to me in the most lovable way. So I pray dedicated, I'm determined. I'm never gonna be broken again, man. Not for nobody. I mean nobody, not for my children, not for my family, not for my woman, not for my wife. I'm never gonna let anybody come between my relationship with God. Nobody becomes so important to me that I would choose to impress you and do right by God. I just can't do it no more. And in the process of me learning that, and this, man, this is so crazy. Like, I can get in depth, but I'd have been here long enough. This probably gonna be one of my longest. I'm going into 2 hours. But anyway, this person ain't been, man. When you hurt somebody that ain't been nothing but good to you, that hurt. It's gonna hit different. When you go to seek your forgiveness for that from God, the people that you did harm to, that has done nothing to you, the injustice, the betrayal, the pain, and everything that they suffer because of you, when it comes back and manifests itself in your life, is the worst. I'm begging to be cooled off because it's hot. Like I'm in hell. Here. In my state of mind. And yet I'm still functioning here in the flesh. Because I'm beating Satan. I'm not taking your offer. I'm not battling with Satan. I'm battling for the grace and forgiveness of my Lord and Savior. I'm battling for the grace of God's mercy, His forgiveness. And the only way I can get it is to go through this and get through this. So, I might have broken some people because they didn't know about divine self-examination. And they didn't know what God may have been sending them through. But I know, and I stand on this firmly, it's not for debate. It's not open for debate for me. I am going to be exactly what God wants me to be to the best of my ability. At this point, I'm not a sellout for nobody. I'm not here to impress nobody. I don't want to be friends with nobody for the sake of saying I got friends. I don't care about family being family. If you ain't right, if you're not demonstrating righteousness, and you're not on this course, you're not on a heavenly course, you're not part of God's army, you're not part of God's will, man, I don't want nothing to do with you. Whoever you are, I really have no restrictions on who you are. Because at the end of the day, in order for me to get out of my hell, my mental hell, when this all over with, He get me through this, I'm never wanting to come back to this place again. And the only way I can do that is by not doing wrong by other people. I have to walk in the image and likeness of my Father God. I have to be what He designed me to be. I can't be weak no more, man. I can't keep it real for the sake of my spiritual well-being. I can't hurt what I love and say that I love. Love is a sacrifice. I gotta sacrifice. I'm sacrificing the worldliness, the illusions, the self-gratification. I'm sacrificing that for everything that I love. Now let me tell y'all this before I leave. Of this divine self-examination. And this the kicker. As passionate as I am about this, as sincere as I am about this, my soul been crying through this whole sermon. My eyes been watering through this whole hookup. Because the pain want to come out. But it ain't about coming out. It's about acknowledgement. It's about accountability, self-accountability, self-responsibility. And I know for a fact that I put myself here. So I'm not gonna feel like it's an unworthy situation. It's an unjust situation. I'm not gonna exit the end today, tomorrow. It's gonna end at the appointed time. I'm gonna continue to be the best that I can be. However, the kicker, just because I experienced this growth, and I'm on this journey, this path with our Father God, and I did ask for forgiveness, and it's being granted to me. His mercy is being displayed upon me. Just because all is well with me and God in the spiritual sense, in the divine sense, we in divine self-examination. Just because I got my spiritual growth, just because I got my relationship with God, it don't need nothing about my physical existence. It's going to change. Meaning, all the hurt and pain and suffering that I feel, that I cause other people, even in my professing to love God, dedicating myself to God, walking His lane, reflecting His image and His likeness, am I doing all that? I still got to get through this physical world. Meaning I still got to get through the hurt and pain that I caused there. And I got to do it with sacrifice. I got to sacrifice all my pain, all these hurt, all these tears that's built up in me. I'm gonna let y'all in on something else. I haven't told y'all one of the most vulnerable, insecure, embarrassing things in my life. This might be the second best. For the first time as a grown man outside of being in prison, the pain that I'm talking about was so great. When I first really acknowledged what was going on, and even though I'm asking them for the truth, just like when they asked me for the truth and I dodged the ball, they dodged the ball too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what their intent is. They got to live with their own choices and decisions. We can't live. We can't live for each other. I know that for a fact. So, you know, I got to leave that to them. However, as I acknowledge this, I actually had to cry myself to sleep. That's how unbearable the pain was. As a grown man, And it was only because I couldn't scream. I couldn't tear nothing up. I couldn't hurt nobody. Because there was some of the thoughts. Because that's usually what I would do. When I was in pain, I made other people feel pain. I made other people hurt. I took it out on other people. As they say, the old saying goes, misery love company. Well, that's where I was at. However, this time I didn't do it. I went inside myself. And I allowed my pain to express itself. And all I could do was release tears. Because now that I'm calling myself being this man, and I'm ready to be what I'm supposed to be, I never thought that I could be rejected by the world. You feel me? And just because I got it together, it never said that the world would have to accept my keeping it together. That put a whole nother level of heat to the hurt and pain that I suffered. Because I could even remember saying to people in certain like, dang, man, I did everything I was supposed to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? I done changed my ways. I done made amends. I'm doing better. I'm doing good. I'm, you know, like, what's up? What's up? Like, what's something going on I don't know about? You ain't got no love for the kid and this, that, and other. Like, well, we ain't vibing. What I do? I gotta do something wrong? Because I've been walking in righteousness. And in the midst of me crying to myself, God had to come and tell me himself, like, you can only get forgiveness from me. And I heard it like 3 times. You can only get forgiveness from me. You can only get forgiveness from me. Telling me is the people I hurt, my victims, are not empowered to forgive me. And remember, we in divine salvation. So why would you expect any form of physical forgiveness? Left with it. Okay. I get it. I get it. And I'm seeing they can't forgive me. I'm seeing it. I'm actually, at some point, I'm telling them, like, I know you'll never forgive me. I can actually recall myself saying this. I know you'll never forgive me. I'm telling them this. And man, that voice just made sense. Only get forgiveness from me. You can only get forgiveness from me. You can only get forgiveness from me. So, to sacrifice my relationship with God for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I could. I just can't, man. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Like, once you begin, and I know I'm about to get off here because it's really getting emotional to me about this, but let me just say this before I go, like, once you build a relationship with God, and I mean, you build a relationship where you can feel God in your world, in your life, and you walking with Him, and y'all got conversation, He's like a buddy, and you can feel everything great about God, and you can feel it in yourself. You so close to touching it, to claiming it, to owning it. You can taste it. Like, that's where I'm at with God now. I'm so close, I can feel it. Even when other people try to talk down, belittle. I mean, back in the day, man, anybody, man, look, I ain't played none of that. None of that. I'm not taking disrespect from nothing and nobody. I didn't care what it was. And I'm telling you, you feel that, man. It had to be what Job felt. That's how he knew it wasn't worth sacrificing. Sometimes I get so caught up in all this love that I feel for God. I feel so rich that I want it to manifest itself just so I can share it with other people. Because everything that you value, I don't value. To show people what to do with grace, with love, with care, with support. There's a lot of people out here that just need help, to just a push to become their best self. Sometimes people just need you to believe in them, even when they don't believe in themselves. A lot of times, that's what most people need, is just to be believed in. But anyway, we're not gonna. I say I don't want to get emotional about this. Yet this sincerely, like, my greatest offering to people that feel lost, conflicted, or feel like there is no God. I'm going to ask you to go through your divine self-examination and see if what you're not suffering is a suffering that you cause somebody else. That you're living your victim's pain, suffering, hurt, betrayal. You're living it. And the only way you're going to ever be able to see God's forgiveness is by going through that. This is why, even in Scripture, everybody that God has chosen to use has been somebody that this world would declare unworthy to be chosen by God. You know what I'm saying? Even in the 12 disciples, you had murderers, you had tax collectors, you had people that was against their own people. I mean, you had arrogant, angry. You know, among the disciples, you had prostitution. These were the people that Jesus hung out with and chose. Point of it being, none of them was perfect. So if you find somebody perfect, So that's my message for y'all, man. I say divine self-examination. Reflection is the business of man. The sense of his state is his first duty. I'm going to say that again. Reflection is the business of man. The sense of his state is his first duty. On top of that, we're going to parallel that with the Bible that said, how can you see the speck that's in your brother's eye and not see the log that's in your own? See, we are always willing to see other people's affairs. It was the greatness of God that in order for us to be who we have to be, that he would force us to see our own affairs. It's only right. You know what I'm saying? So stop looking at the speck in others. Divine self-examination. Let's start chopping down that log in your own sight that's preventing you from seeing what you should be seeing, which is God working through you and in you. Then you can work with others. Let's start working. Embrace your pain, your suffering, your hurt. You caused it. Take that responsibility. And let's move forward as God's people. Because no matter what, we are his children. We are his lineage. His lineage. His offspring. His image, his likeness. We his love. So, that's the last discussion amongst the link up with spiritual advisor Mark McCline. I'll leave y'all with this divine self-examination. I appreciate every comment, every thought, every viewing, every sharing that y'all have done. I still appreciate the person that recognized me in the grocery store. That was so hilarious. So hilarious. For the first time, I felt feeling good about something right. That was a beautiful thing. So, sister, if you're still listening, I appreciate that moment. As you see, I still carry it with me. I value that. It was a wonderful experience. Thank you. To everybody else, man, like I said, all I can do is I thank y'all for, joining the link up, subscribing to the link up. And I ain't gonna never say, nah, I think the link up over there. I wanted to say, I ain't gonna say I'm gone. I might be on here in another month or so. But I'm gonna discontinue this. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I'm going into another realm. And we'll see what that do. And, if it's God's will for the link up to return, then, naturally, I'm going to be obedient. You know what I'm saying? And bring you the link up too. With your boy, the spiritual advisor, Mark McCline, So that's what it is, man. I done kept y'all long enough. I know it's going to take y'all a while to watch this one, man. However, I hope y'all agree it's going to be one most profoundly worth watching. You know what I'm saying? Divine self-examination. Man, leave y'all comments, man. Please leave comments. Let me know and look forward to me. If I get back on this before y'all go out, matter of fact, before we leave off of the link up, don't unsubscribe yet. Because once I put my other podcasts together and how that's going down, I'm going to get back on here and I'm going to give y'all the link to that link up and see that y'all, and ask that y'all come join me in that link up too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be a very enlightening situation. For one, I get to debate with my sisters. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even some Caucasians, if they willing. to come in the kitchen and take the heat. It don't make no difference, but I think that'll be interesting. So, y'all let me know, maybe even in y'all comments. You know what I'm saying? If y'all got some ideas in regards to Raise the Bar, maybe another name for the podcast. I don't know. Maybe a social outlet that y'all want me to see me on a podcast. Where I should go to. That'd be interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, what social media outlet you think I should be utilizing to discuss this project? Or to advertise this project on. I can go for all that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all suggestions is. You the people. And hey, I ain't trying to be like the Constitution. When I say you the people, I mean you the people. In the divine sense, though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't dealing with this fleshly man no more, man. So, you the people, help me figure out what our next journey gonna be together. Alright. This your boy, the spiritual advisor, Mark McCline, putting an ending to the link up. It's been a joy. I thank you for allowing me to serve y'all. I thank you for everybody to listen, everybody that got something from this. I look forward to y'all joining me in my future endeavors. I hope that I, continue to raise the bar. Get it? Raise the bar? All right. Anyway, y'all be blessed, man. Take care of each other. Love each other. Look, hey, brothers, watch over our sisters. Sisters, be more aware of y'all surroundings. And at all times, let's protect our children. We living in a cynical world. Everybody ain't playing fair. So, let's take care of our children, man. Take care of one another. Love ye one another at all costs. Alright? Alright. So, again, this is the Last Supper. I hope I fed y'all well. Thank you again. This your boy, Mark McCline, the spiritual advisor. Saluting. I'll see y'all in the next round.